Hello and welcome to The Spice. My name is Angel Ardito and I'm the host, and this is my co-host Blake. He's also my boyfriend, and he's made a few appearances in some of my videos in the past. You've made a few appearances. Everyone always loves you. They always think that you're just like the sexiest man alive, which is true. It's true. I think you are. Anyway.
I love you.
So basically, I called my podcast The Spice because, you know, and if anyone follows me, you know that I end all of my videos with keep it spicy, but also because I kind of wanted this to be like a variety show. So I was thinking that it wouldn't just be sex and relationship advice. I want to do some reactions and have guests on. And I like to think of it as a variety show. And anytime I think of the word variety, I think of my high school art teacher, Mr. Ekman, who told me variety is the spice of life when I complained about the music that he played, because he played different music every day. Besides the point. So I always thought a variety show, variety is the spice of life. I like to keep it spicy, so we're going to call it The Spice. So without further ado, welcome to The Spice Podcast, and we'll jump right into it.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so how we're going to start this is we're just going to go over a reaction first, and then at the end of the episode, I will read a submission that a fan sent in to me. This is going to be his first time. This is going to be Blake's first time reading a submission, and I get questions all the time to my inbox, and I don't usually share them with you, but because this one was a submission specifically for the podcast, you're going to get to be privy to that.
Cool.
So we'll start with the reaction. So I'm on a subreddit called Relationship Advice. So I'm going to read this to you.
Okay.
And I think I want to start with getting your reaction to it. So I want to hear what you think first. I've already read this halfway. So my 29 female husband, 30 male, attempted to hire a sex worker while out of town on a work trip. How do I get through this? So here's the body. For context, we've been together for 13 years, married for 7, and have a 4 and a 1-year-old. We were a healthy marriage, good communication, healthy sex life, and overall happy. He's otherwise a great husband and father. He provides for us, which allows me to be a stay-at-home mom and take care of things at home, but he also contributes to our home with things like cooking, cleaning, and laundry when needed. Yesterday, my 4-year-old needed help with their iPad. I went to find the parental controls and in the process ended up noticing my husband's text messages were synced on there. I quickly scrolled and saw a suspicious, "My hour is 500, love." I thought it was a joke, but I opened the message and saw that he was inquiring. He tried on 2 separate days. Day 4 of his trip, he said, "Hi, I saw you on Tryst. What is your approximate in-call location? Would love to meet up with you." He unfortunately found someone in a different state. On day 7 of his trip, he said, "Hi, saw you on Tryst. What are your donation amounts for outcall? Perhaps for 1 hour this evening." He also thought to include his location on the last one and got it right that time. He was away for 8 days total on a work trip 3 weeks ago. That was, according to him, very exhausting, and he was beyond tired at the end of every single day. I confronted him about it. I thought he was going to say him and his coworkers were just joking around, but no, he admitted that he was horny and just slipped up, but promised that nothing happened. My trust is broken, though. I never thought he would cheat, but he put thought into this. So how do I know he hasn't slept around? I'm in disbelief, and my trust in him is completely broken. I have problems trusting people, and he was literally the only person I thought would never let me down. My best friend and my favorite person. Am I an overthinker and just keep thinking into the past and future? Will he do something else? Has he done something, etc.? I don't know how I'll ever be able to be intimate with him again. At this point, I feel like I'm not enough. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusting. I don't know what to do. Do I stay? Do I leave? If I stay, how do I begin to trust him? How do people manage a betrayal like this?
Dude, I don't know. I'm not an expert on this, but that sucks.
None of us are experts on this. Neither of us are experts on this.
Yeah. No, that totally sucks.
What would you do if I went on a work trip and then you were like, you found out that I was messaging multiple times
On the same trip?
On the same trip. Multiple times in this trip that you were on, that I was on, I was messaging male prostitutes.
Yeah. Dude, I'd probably just pack I would pack your shit. I'd pack your shit.
Pack my shit.
Set it on the front porch. And get comfy in my home with the kids, because you get to figure out the rest of your life.
Yeah. Okay, but to be fair, they've been together for 13 years and they do have 2 kids. So it's not as much as I want to say pack your bags and leave, because I think that most people would want to say that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in the outside looking into a relationship will be like, you need to just pack your bags and leave. You need to just pack your bags and leave. But the thing is, it's not that easy when you've built a life with someone.
Yeah. Tell them to pack their bags and leave. What would you suggest they do? Go to therapy? How many work trips has this guy been on?
I read you everything. I read you everything that I know.
I want more details. No.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like when you've built a life with someone, it's not easy to just walk away from something like that. So it's really each person individually who's in a relationship has to figure that out for themselves, and they have to find that line for themselves. And I would be curious as to whether or not she really truly feels like he didn't do anything. Because I feel like a lot of women have this natural intuition. I feel like a lot of people do, but women are a little more in tune with it because of the way that we're raised. I feel like if she really has this gut feeling, she should listen to that. If she feels like he's lying and he did sleep with these prostitutes, and let's be clear that whether or not he slept with the prostitutes, he messaged them.
Right. There was, what's the word?
Intent?
Yes.
Yeah. And even if there is not intent to actually have sex with someone outside of your relationship, why are you messaging them?
Well, yeah.
Right?
Well, because he was intending to...
Well, why are you messaging them? Like, even if there's not intent to actually physically be with someone, why are you messaging a prostitute? Like, there is nothing that you can get out of that aside from some kind of sexual gratification.
Yeah. Yeah, it's this... I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's the same as whatever comes after it. Like, right? I don't know. I was going to try and compare it to some other sort of situation where a partner's cheating, right? Like, they put themselves in a situation that could result in cheating happening, but if they didn't cheat, are they at fault? How much?
Well, so, and then you get into the conversation about what is cheating, which is also, I think, a big problem of couples not identifying what cheating is to them.
Right.
And so you get into this gray area right here when you haven't defined what cheating is to you and your partner.
Yeah.
Then you get into this area of like, oh, well, I messaged her, but I didn't have sex with her.
Right.
So therefore it's not cheating. So you, as the partner who's been betrayed or lied to, you have to figure out, to you, is your partner messaging someone else like that in that manner cheating? And if it is, then it's something that needs to be discussed. And I mean, I'm not, like you said, we're not professionals. Therapy. Grand old therapy.
Oh, man.
Okay, so I think that probably will conclude that. We've talked enough about that.
Nice.
And we can move into the second part of the show, which is going to be a submission that someone directly sent to me. And yay to this person, because you get to be on my first podcast episode. So I'm just going to read this to you. And I mean, I'll be probably the one who winds up answering it, but I'd like to hear what you think about it as well.
All right.
Okay. So it says, hello, I hope you're doing well. I'm a big fan of your videos about positions. I showed it to my wife as well, and we tried the positions and it became pretty easy for us to try after watching videos. Keep up the good work and please keep posting more of it. Advice required though. I want to try anal sex, but my partner is not ready. I'm not forcing her to go for it because I need it, but would like it. I'd like your advice on how I can convince her to try just once, just for an experience. Share tips as well as how we should start, as it could be painful for both of us.
What do you think?
I wanted to hear what you think about it because, okay, so you guys, I'm not a professional. I just am a very intuitive person and kind of like a sensual person. I really enjoy that side of life. I don't have any education on this, but somehow became like this sex and relationship guru, which I absolutely love and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But neither of us are trained in this. We're not therapists. We're not sex therapists. We're not relationship coaches. But with that being said, that disclaimer there for you.
Yeah.
I would like to hear what you think about the submission. So he's basically asking, saying that his partner is not ready to try anal, but it's something that he really wants to try.
Yeah.
And he's asking how he can convince her.
I mean, I guess I don't know if I like the word like convince her. Maybe you just need to talk about it and figure out if she has a strict boundary with that. And if she does, then that's a part of your relationship now. And you need to work around that. I mean, it's about working with your partner. And when things come up that you haven't addressed, like it's the kind of a first time thing that's ever come up, no matter how long you've been together, like that needs to be like fleshed out. You got to talk about it and you got to figure out where you're willing to go. So maybe instead of just trying to convince her immediately, find out what she thinks about it, how she feels about it. Does she have any questions? If you have any questions, you ask them. And kind of just go from there. Be willing to never have that experience.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because
if you want to be with that person.
If you want to be, yeah, that's true. Yeah. If you want to be, if everything else about this person is worth staying, and it's just this one thing, like you got to decide, do you want to live with it or do you want to say goodbye? There's a lot of experiences to be had. So I wouldn't get hung up on one. But that's my opinion on it.
That was great.
What do you got, babe?
You did a good job on that. And my man, thank you to my man.
I just think that that's the respectful thing to do.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. If I was about to write an email back to him, I would probably firstly talk about how coercion is not consent, because that's the baseline, right? The baseline is something that's consensual. So we need to cover that coercion is not consent. So if you feel like you have to convince and eventually you get the outcome that you want, that's not consent. So he says in here that he wants to try anal sex, but his partner is not so ready to try. So this indicates to me that they've probably already had conversations about it, or at least one conversation. Right. Maybe not even a conversation, maybe just in the middle of sex, he was like, can we try this? And she was like, no, I'm not ready. And then maybe they never talked about it. But it sounds in here like they've probably had a conversation. So my first thing would be to maybe address it with your partner, right? Maybe he should address it with his partner and ask her, is it something that is a hard no for you? Or is it something that you would be willing to be a little more open-minded to in the future, or with a little more work and preparation and conversation about it?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of how I would address it.
Totally.
Now, as far as advice on how you could start, as it could be painful for both of you, that's absolutely true. And firstly, I'd probably say, as long as your partner is willing to try this or willing to kind of take steps toward it, you want to make sure that you're that you're not making it all about you and your experience as the person who's doing the penetrating, but that you're taking your partner's feelings and their body language into consideration, that you're paying attention to how she's reacting, how her body's moving, and if she does anything that indicates that she's in any kind of pain. Lots of lubricant. Coconut oil is great if you're not into traditional lubricants. You can start with just a finger, or butt plugs come in all different types of sizes. So you can do types of play with toys or your finger before you get into actual like penis in the anal cavity. And I think that that's probably the way to go, because no one is going to enjoy the experience of just shoving someone up their butt, because that's not really what your butthole is for.
The intended use.
And it could be great. There's a lot of nerve endings in your anus, so it actually can be very, very, very pleasurable for anyone. It just has to be approached correctly, very patiently, very, very slowly. Make sure that you're pleasuring your partner. If you guys do move forward with this, make sure that you're pleasuring her in ways other than just the penetration. So having some stimulation on her clitoris is going to be really important for making sure that she's getting enjoyment out of the experience as well. So that would be kind of my tips and tricks on the subject.
Nice. Sounds good. Sounds good. Good luck to your partner and that relationship.
Yes.
And hope everything goes good.
Yeah. And good luck to all of you who are listening and maybe are in the same boat as this person who submitted this. And I hope that you all have very happy, fulfilling, consensual, and pleasurable sex lives with your partners. And that concludes our episode for today. So thank you so much for listening. And as always, stay spicy. Bye.